Hey guys, welcome to my channel. This week's challenge is fresh herbs, so I'm going to be making some garlic and herb biscuits. The recipe doesn't say to start out this way, but I'm going to do this because I think it'll make my life easier. I'm going to knock things off the counter. I'm going to use a food processor instead of cutting the butter in because I did that in my last video, whichever one I made puff pastry for, and it was way easier than trying to cut the butter in. So I'm just gonna try that. So I'm gonna start out with 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of baking powder, half of a teaspoon of baking soda, half of a teaspoon of garlic powder, and then I have some minced rosemary. This was fresh and I just chopped it up, so I'm going to put a tablespoon of that in here as well. And a tablespoon of minced parsley, also fresh. All right, and lastly, I'm going to add 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter. This has been in the refrigerator. You're supposed to keep it super cold, and I have cut it into cubes. And then I'm just going to blend that up a little bit. Now I'm just going to pour that into this bowl. All right, now I'm going to add 3/4 cup of buttermilk. And I'm supposed to mix this very gently until it's all just moistened. And it's still a little bit crumbly, so I'm going to add just another tablespoon or so of buttermilk. It's easier to mix this with my hands. All right, now I'm going to flour this surface and I'm going to roll the dough out. And it actually says to pat it out into a rectangle, not to roll it, so that's what I'm doing. All right, and now similarly to what I did with the puff pastry, I'm going to fold this over like a business letter, so fold like the bottom third over and then the top third over. And now I'm going to just flatten it out again. And it's supposed to be about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch thick. Now that this is all flattened out, I'm going to use this biscuit cutter and cut out circles, and then I'm going to put it onto this baking sheet that's lined with parchment paper. And then the remaining dough scraps, I'm just gonna kind of fold together and try and cut them out once more, but I don't want to work with this too much or else it'll just be funny. All right, so I rolled all of those out. They ended up a little bit thinner than the 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch, but whatever. And then I have this one little guy over here that was just the leftover dough that I didn't want to like re-roll out, so I just kind of made it into a circle and squished it down so it looks a little funny. But I'm supposed to put them on a baking tray with the edges touching. And then I'm going to go ahead and put these in the refrigerator for 30 minutes just so that the butter can get nice and cold again. And while that's going, I'm going to preheat my oven to 400 degrees. I lied, 425 degrees. Now that I've pulled these out of the refrigerator, my oven is preheated, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a tablespoon of buttermilk and just brush it over the top of these before I put them in the oven. All right, now I'm going to put these in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. All right, I just pulled these out of the oven. Here's what they look like. They're still very flat. They didn't rise very much. They're more like pancakes and biscuits, but it's okay. So the last thing I'm gonna do, 2 things. I have some melted butter and I'm gonna brush this over the top. And then I'm going to take some of this fresh minced parsley and I'm just gonna sprinkle it over the top. And there we go, those are done. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to like and comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.